I can't believe that Pervy the Clown has a bus. That's a riot. I love it.
No, that's not the Pervy the Clown bus. So the funny thing about that story is, so me, Nick, and Hunter, we that it's like a vegan healthy donut, and she drives the food truck around, and that lady goes to the gym that we go to, and I posted that picture on the B Movie TV Pervy the Clown page, and I'm like, yeah, because that's what Pervy always is. He's like, yeah. And so she saw it, and then all these people started to add her. They're like, "Hey, you're the." It's like, no, I'm not. I sell donuts. What are you guys talking about? Because she's like
Oh,
doing this seductive pose on the truck.
they think she's the girl. I thought that was the girl of the Pervy the Clown. That's why you sent
No,
it.
she's
Yeah.
just a lady that sells
Oh,
donuts.
Yeah,
oh
I
my
was like,
God.
yeah, I was so confused about that too. I was like, is this like is she advertising her OnlyFans or something? Does she
No,
like
it
bake
looks like that,
naked or
doesn't it? No,
something?
she's
Yeah.
selling healthy donuts, and then all these people come to her. She's like, "Where the hell did I get all these fans from Pervy the Clown for?"
Hey man, it's LA, sex sells, you know?
Yeah, it does. Donut holes. Yeah,
Come,
how the hell do you think they make the donut holes? They fuck them.
Yeah.
come get my donut.
Yeah, cream
Um,
filled.
oh my God, that's so. Oh.
Yes.
You know what that reminds me? Remember in Van Wilder when they
Oh,
jacked
the
the
pit
dog
bull.
off
Oh god.
and the English bulldog and they put it in the donut and he's eating it and he's like, oh, it's so warm.
I think my mom made these for me once.
So nasty. Okay. All right. Anyways, but we're not talking about that today. So is everybody ready?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm ready. It's recording now. You want to start this one, Aid?
Oh yeah, who's hosting?
Let's see. I mean, I could host unless Jason, you want to host? Have you hosted
Yeah,
before?
I'm not the biggest fan of this movie. Like I've got a lot of things to say about it. I enjoy it, but maybe somebody who enjoys the movie a little bit better.
Oh, you
Okay,
mean
I,
me?
I could. Yeah, if you want to host it. I mean, this is the first time I've seen this movie, and
Oh, okay.
I have some funny
Oh,
things to say. But I mean, yeah, it's
okay then. Yeah, let me host it then.
okay.
If
Okay.
that's okay with you, Doug.
Go ahead.
Because
Yeah.
I have an appreciation for Anaconda that apparently Jason does not. So
I'll get into it. There's things that I enjoy, and there's other things.
I'll
okay.
get into it. Yeah.
All right. So this is Slashers, your new favorite podcast about your new favorite horror media. And today is another episode of our 90s November. And with me, I have my colleagues, co hosts, and cohorts, Doug and Jason. Boys, say hello to the mutant goons from beyond.
Hey, Mutant Goons from Beyond. We're about to see a movie with Jennifer Love, huge tits in a night dress, which, I'm all excited about anal camel toe like that. So,
That's actually the other Jennifer Lopez. Jennifer
oh,
Love,
Lopez,
yeah, as
same
Hewitt.
difference.
Yeah, same person, right? They both blew up in the '90s. One of them was a fly girl, the other one wasn't. Um,
Mm.
oh man, this is quite the movie. It did not age as well as you maybe had hoped it would, at least in my.
Well, for those of you who didn't know, the Southern twang comes from Jason.
Yes.
Yeah, Jason's the
And
conservative voice of the group. We had to get a mixed, now that Trump made his announcement, or here's Ron back in.
Yeah, an AIDS neck of the woods, right? How far is Mar? Do
yes.
you live at Mar-a-Lago too?
No, I don't have any money, please. Mar-a-Lago is actually like close to like Palm Beach and stuff. So like
Uh,
where West Palm is, so West Palm is the poor people. And then when you cross the bridge to Palm Beach, that's where all of the like millionaires and stuff live. And
oh, that's right.
that's
Because
where
what's his
Jeffrey
face?
Epstein, yeah, Jeffrey Epstein used to drag little girls into. So like,
Yeah.
Oh, so it's
Trump's best
basically,
friend.
yeah, Mar-a-Lago, aka Pedophile Island. So,
Well, Epstein had his own island as well, which is off the coast of, Florida. Anyways, doesn't matter. Just because we have a lot of pedophilia here doesn't mean that it's a bad place. But speaking of tropical areas, the film we're doing today for 90s November is something that's very near and dear to my heart, which yes, does star the beautiful Jennifer Lopez. And it is 1997's Anaconda.
and this is the first time I've ever seen this movie. I mean, I've known of it since because it came out in '97. So this was the one that, like in grade school, all the kids were talking about it.
Yeah, that
And
Oh
is
my God.
yeah,
yeah.
it's wild to me that you've never seen this movie. Like I saw it in theaters in like a shitty four-screen theater in Goldsboro, North Carolina with my dad. Um yeah, I was part of this movie made $150 million and it was always on television too. Like you can count like 3 o'clock in the afternoon, some cable network was gonna be showing Anaconda somewhere. Like,
Well,
I'm just surprised you never saw it, or at
well,
least like
see,
on the Spanish network. Like I'm sure it was played on the Spanish network a
I'm
lot
sure it
too.
played on there too. I think Yahira's aunt might have seen it. She's like, "I know it's scary. No, it's culebra." But no. As a kid, like it's funny. Like this movie was called Anaconda. Everyone called. They're like, "Have you seen Anaconda?" And I'm like, "Yeah, what's it about?" They're like, well, I don't know. I only got past the first 20 minutes. Jennifer Lopez is in like this nightgown, and you could see her ass. The nightgown is getting eaten by her ass, and all they do is." So that's all I knew about it. So it was like a early masturbation video.
Well, I'm so offended by that because I mean that's not what I take. Well,
Okay,
clearly I didn't
but these
take
are
this
like
at my.
when we were younger, is that's what they always said. Like I ran there from Blockbuster. So
Well, yeah, I mean, I too saw Jason in the movie theater actually, and I think I was around 9 years old when I saw this movie. And when we get to the competition later, it's amazing to me how many of these horror films I saw at the movie theater at 9. And I did the math. I was like, I was 9 years old. Why was my mom taking me to these movies?
it's the
But
babysitter.
Yeah.
I was so horrified of Anaconda because for those of you who don't know, I grew up in upstate New York and I moved into Florida when I was like 11. So this is before I moved to Florida, but we used to come down here for vacation because I have lots of family here as well. And right after we saw Anaconda, we came down to Florida and all I kept having were nightmares because I think we were down in Fort Lauderdale, close to Mar-a-Lago. And and we're at the hotel and at night like I could hear things like outside because you hear like I mean it's nothing that I notice now, but if you're from like up north and you come down here and you're listening to like the woods and everything at night, like all of the bugs and creatures and you
The
can hear
frogs.
everything,
Oh
the
my God, the
frogs.
frogs never shut the fuck up.
No, I know. Like it's so bad. And I just kept thinking like I couldn't sleep. I couldn't sleep the entire vacation. I kept thinking this fucking snake was gonna come and eat me and then they was gonna spit me out like John Boy and I was gonna look like that. And I was just like so
Wait,
scared.
So
wait,
you're more afraid of
doesn't Florida actually have pythons and anacondas as like invasive species because people let them go because they don't want to deal with them anymore? Isn't that a thing?
Yes. So down in the Everglades, people who buy ball pythons or any kind of python, it's mostly the pythons. There's no anacondas, not that as far as I know,
Yeah,
but
they're probably a little
like
bit harder to keep.
yeah, I would assume. Yeah. But they let them go in the Everglades. So now there's like people who like make careers out of trapping these pythons and getting them out because they're like killing everything.
Yeah, and the same with
And
lionfish. They'll pay you to just kill lionfish all day.
oh yeah, they're awful because they're in the water. If you step in it, like, oh my God. And like they're pretty, right? So you think, oh, it's cute, and then you touch it and well, whatever. Anyway, so if you're gonna come to Florida, don't swim in the lakes, don't swim in the ocean, and watch out for anacondas. Anyways,
And
well
gators.
now this one here,
and
it's
gators.
the movie starts off with like the scrolling text, but I feel like a lot of it's bullshit out of its ass. Like a lot of I'm like this isn't true. This isn't true. And then I looked it up. This movie must not like Wakanda because this kills a fucking Black Panther and rips its eyeball out. So I mean, are there panthers in Brazil?
Oh yeah,
Yes, yes.
Are there?
or they're leopards. They're leopards. The
Yeah,
panthers
this is
are
a
just
Black
a
Panther. I was
classification.
pretty
Yeah,
sure.
no, I just remember. Do y'all remember that video that went viral like years and years ago? This is the early days of YouTube. It was a panther versus a python, an anaconda, and like the anaconda almost won, but then the panther got it off its nose, like was about to suffocate and die, and then it killed the anaconda. Y'all never watched that video?
I probably had seen it, but I'm sure
It
I
is
was like,
crazy.
It's probably on
I
Hood
don't,
site.
I don't want to watch Bagheera like slay. What was the snake's
That
name?
snake sucked, and that snake,
Ka.
yeah, Kyle was an asshole. Okay, I'm fine with Big
So
Gira just wrecking
funny.
that shit.
I loved Ka. Like he was so fucking funny. What a great movie. See, that was like the children's version of Anaconda.
Yeah,
Jungle
exactly.
Book, yeah. The
Yeah.
cartoon version.
Well, this is like if it's funny because this movie, what was the budget was like 150 some mil. Like this is a
43, yeah, it was $43 million that they spent on it.
43
This is,
million dollars and
45, yeah. And it
45.
made
And then you look at Cannibal Holocaust was like not even a percentage of that budget, and they went more places because this movie takes place in like one spot, like right when they get to that gate. It's like just there the whole time.
yeah, it's set in the Amazon, but I wrote it down. They actually filmed it in parts of the Rio Negro near Manaus in
Mhm.
Brazil, and the rest of it was filmed at the Los Angeles Arboretum.
Makes
there you
sense.
go.
Makes sense.
And it's just like, okay, so for today's standards, like if you look at the cast now, like, so let's talk a little bit about the cast and then we'll get into some trivia about it because I have some things that I want to segue into. So we have Jennifer Lopez, obviously, which this is where she first, like, really first started. I would say that this was probably one of the very first things that you saw her in, but after she started dancing for In Living Color.
Yeah,
And
yeah. She was in, I guess, in Money Train around the same time as this. Yeah,
yeah,
she was very kind of green at this point.
yeah.
And curly hair. I was like,
This is
oh, look,
before
I
her
forgot about
breast
that.
implants.
Well, she doesn't have it. She doesn't even have breasts. She doesn't
She
have that. So
doesn't?
no, she doesn't. She just has small boobs and they're perky, but they're small. So they should be perky. And now she's like in her 50s, which she looks fabulous. Hello, Glow by J-Lo.
I
Anyway,
saw Hustlers. I saw Hustlers.
yeah, listen, okay, say what you want about Jennifer Lopez, 'cause I know a lot of people don't like her, but she's my fucking idol. I love her. And if you like, when you watch her in this movie, you see how she used to look, and she doesn't look bad. Like, she's not ugly, but she definitely looks Puerto Rican back then. Like
Yeah. Oh yeah.
now you look at her and you're like, what is she? But back then you knew that bitch was Puerto Rican. So
Yeah,
like,
she
come
kind of did the whole Michael Jackson effect now, but she still has the ass made of dough. So,
Well, this is why my hair is the color that it is, because Jennifer Lopez has the same color. So whenever Jennifer Lopez goes through a little thing, I do the same thing as her because I feel like I can get away with it because we're both Puerto Ricans.
And
So.
Well,
Dan
I'm
looks
looking at
exactly
her.
like Ben Affleck, so we got it.
Yeah, I'm looking
You
at her
wish it.
IMDb photo here, and she has the same eyebrow raise you do. So,
Yeah, I know. See, they're not there, and now she colors them in. Thank you, JLo.
Oh.
Anyways, well, no, they're not there in the picture, and they're not there on me in real life. I have to draw them on.
Just get the tattoo.
I don't want a needle on my face. I don't have any piercings on my face for a reason. There's, anyways. So we have Jennifer Lopez, but Ice Cube at the time was big. So Ice Cube was, a huge figure.
He was one of the early, because at this point they always put rappers in these kind of roles, and now
Yes.
it's a little stereotypical.
He
He's
knows
he does kind of the stereotypical black thing in this movie. It's like, I ain't getting swim and all this kind of stuff, but he's fine in this movie. You
Well,
get there's snakes out there this big, which is the best part of the entire movie.
Now, my question is, where did these two meet? Like, I understand it's like Ice Cube and Jennifer Lopez, but Ice Cube, like, it looks like he just like straight out of Compton, and then Jennifer Lopez came out of like UCLA film school. So, in what world did they meet and become friends?
And this is where I think it's a little, and I don't want to say this movie is racist because the director is what's his name?
He's a double L.
Luis Llosa, which I think that he's Peruvian. So I'm surprised that Yahaira doesn't know who he is, because he actually founded Iguana Productions, which produces Peruvian films as well as telenovelas such as Escándalo, Torbellino, and Latin Lover.
Ooh,
so,
chisme.
well, I know we'll have to ask Yahaira if she knows who he is. But so I don't know if it's inherently racist, but to put those two together, they're like, they are the minority of the group, right? So,
Yeah.
and it just kind of like, it kind of felt, watching it now, back then I didn't notice, but watching it now kind of felt like, okay, well, she's Hispanic, he's black, and they work together on other projects. It just didn't, I don't know. But then I looked at who was supposed to play them. So we have Jennifer Lopez as Terry Flores, Ice Cube as Danny Rich. And I looked at my some trivia today, and for Jennifer Lopez's role, they had Gillian Anderson, Juliana Margulies, Jennifer Aniston, Kate Beckinsale, Nicole Kidman, Kim Basinger, and Sandra Bullock were all considered for the role. And her name was actually supposed to be Terry Porter. So we have Terry Flores, played by Jennifer Lopez. So obviously they changed her name to make her Hispanic.
They should have just kept it Porter. So she's actually Irish,
Well, I mean, the thing is I'm half Polish, right? So if my dad was Polish, I'd have a white name and you guys wouldn't know the difference, right? So I guess
that's called
for
passing.
her,
Isn't that what that's called?
It's passing, yeah.
Yeah.
And but the thing is, like, she's got the, if they're gonna put her that little white nighty, you definitely know that she's Hispanic, because
Yeah.
Which, I mean, it looks great on her. Like, I was like, oh my God, how cute. Because I never noticed the nightgown, but I noticed it now. I don't know why, because I'm whatever. It doesn't matter.
HD
But
television.
they actually wanted Chris Farley to play the role of Ice Cube, of Danny's role. And he couldn't do it because he was filming Beverly Hills Ninja.
I saw that. I was joking with the coworker about this today. I was like, what if Ice Cube and Chris Farley just swapped? And
Oh, I
like
think this would
Chris
totally
Farley,
make it a cartoon because it's
yeah.
already cartoony enough as it is. But if Chris Farley was in there, I could just imagine the snake going after him.
Or just Chris like, man, there's snakes out there, this big man. And they're like in the Ice Cube, if he was Beverly Hills Ninjas, like how many times do you think they would have made ninjas with attitude jokes if he was Beverly Hills Ninjas?
Oh my God.
Well, I mean, Ice Cube, his first line was like, "Today was a good day."
Yeah, exactly.
Well, and that's the thing is like, I mean, with Ice Cube fits this role, and I could see like they also had Will Smith and Ving Rhames up for the role, right? But if you look at Bill Murray, like they had Bill Murray on the list. I'm like, why would Bill Murray do this role, right? So oh God,
You say that, but he was also in Space Jam around this time as well.
I think we're being
Yeah, so who do we have down here? Mr. Anaconda himself, Nicki Minaj.
well, we can't hear him, so I don't know if he knows that we can't hear him or not.
Well, this is
but
for your video viewers out there. We got Dick Jones added.
Dick Jones over here with the little what is that? Bret Michaels headband he's wearing. What's happening now? Can't get it.
Okay.
Well, there goes Pinochet. So
anyways, well, we'll leave that in the video. But anyway, but yeah, so like I can't see Bill Murray doing that, right? Like
No.
I can't picture anybody else really doing any of these roles, which is
Bill Murray, Ving Rhames when the Ice Cube role would have been actually pretty awesome. I feel like.
yeah, Ving Rhames would have been good. Will Smith,
He's maybe a little bit older than Ice Cube's character because like you get the thing that maybe they're Jennifer Lopez and Ice Cube were around the same time, so maybe they would have kind of finagled that a little bit. But I think Ving Rhames would have been really awesome in this role. But yeah, and Will Smith would have been just kind of weird,
Will
Smith back then for sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
because that was 97.
Yeah,
Like,
he was just Fresh Prince at that point. So.
he wasn't smacking people around yet. So
Well, one thing I can say for this movie that that I gotta applaud it for is that it really turns the heads on like typical norms because you think Eric Stoltz is gonna be like the
hero,
the main character hero, but he gets fucking he eats a wasp and he's out for like half the movie. He does a Jennifer or Jamie Lee Curtis in Halloween Kills in the hospital bed the whole time. And but the thing is like your main heroes are Jennifer Lopez and Ice Cube. You know what I mean? So that's the black guy doesn't die in this movie, which is great.
Yeah, I was also kind of surprised about the Eric Stoltz thing. I was like, you were maybe at this time he was maybe the most known actor at the point as far as being an actor. And he's like
John Voight was probably
John Voight, yeah, sure. But I'm just like he's on the movie, then he gets the wasp down his throat. Which one, like you're supposed to look at your scuba gear first. I think you should have like, oh, let's get this wasp out of this, mouthpiece real quick. But then he's like, I can just imagine like going to the Warner Brothers lot or whatever and just being like, hey, I got to go lay down in the back room for the next 8 hours. It's pretty good paycheck. And then just like leaving. Like
that's the easiest. Yeah. And Jennifer Lopez is like rubbing his head. It's like anything I could do for you, dear, please. Like, man, I would love that role. Just lay down in bed and get
sitting in that makeup chair, having that straw at your throat all day. Like, I bet that was fun.
Well, see, this movie was way more cartoony than I would have thought. So I wish they would have had like cartoonish sound effects, like when he swallows that wasp, it would have did.
Like, you know what I mean? Yeah, like you couldn't, and that was the thing too, because when I was a kid I didn't understand it. So the only issue that I had with that scene, and we'll get back to the actors in a minute, is that when they pull him, I don't know where you guys watched it. I watched this on
Hulu, yeah.
Hulu fucking cuts it out because I don't know if you remember, Jason. Do you remember in the movie theater? Because I'll never forget this. When they did it, they showed him cutting his throat open, sticking it in, and then draining all the blood. And you can see the wasp coming out of his throat. It was the most disgusting thing. And Hulu fucking cuts it out.
Like, I remember watching that part. I was like, I thought maybe I just didn't remember that right. Because I feel like I remember it being so much more graphic. But I'm glad you also remember that. Because I was like, but they put the thing in his throat, but they didn't show it at all. I was like, what's going on here?
So is there an Anaconda uncut?
There must be.
There's always PG-13.
Anaconda uncut. Well, no, now I'm just getting uncircumcised dicks. Okay, so let me see what Anaconda uncut.
Well, I think that it back then at PG-13 probably it flew, right? Like it was okay, but now I guess that's not considered PG-13 anymore, which I understand because it was probably the one of, besides the snake that scared me, that was one of the other parts that really scared the shit out of me because it was so graphic and I don't remember really looking at something so bloody and disgusting like that before.
And it was PG-13 in the theater?
It was PG-13 back then, yeah, which is why my mom
So
probably
what
thought it was okay to
happened?
take me, right? Because she took me to see it. And so I don't know. And I'm really upset that so, Doug, you need to Google or maybe on YouTube, they probably have that scene that you can see. So for those of you listening, if you watch it on Hulu, they cut out the tracheotomy because even Jake and I have bonded talking about that scene because that scene is probably the most visceral part of the film that has nothing to do with the snake, right? Nothing to do with the snake at all. And it was just so scary. And so, oh, hold on. Sorry. My phone's going off. I don't know why.
Well, I gotta say the snake is probably like the cutest character in here too. It's got like that face. It's not pissed. It's just kind of like
He's so cute. Actually, it kind of had like Stella's face when it would like look, and I'm like, oh, and I'm looking at my little baby because she's got little slanted eyes too, and I'm like, it looks like you.
yeah. It's like how could I hate this snake? Like, it's a cute
I
snake.
also love that apparently snakes, growl and roar. They're
Oh
very
yeah.
vocal.
Well, did you know that Frank Welker does the scream
Yes.
I didn't
Yeah.
realize that, so that was a lot of fun.
Like as soon as I heard it, I was like, "Yep, that's Frank Welker, all right." Then I googled it, and I was like, "Yeah, that's definitely Frank Welker."
Well, I'll tell
He
you the
is certainly.
disappointment with this here, like same with arachnophobia. But this now seeing this movie, it was my disappointment as a kid going to the zoo, and I expected like spiders and snakes when they jump, they go
Yeah.
because in arachnophobia they do the same scream that this fucking snake does too, and they don't do that. Have you ever heard a spider or a snake go?
Okay, so I have a quick story
Okay.
because I live in Florida. And Jason, you live in the South, so I'm sure you've had weird stories too.
Sure.
So back in the day, I dated this guy in a band, and we lived in this house, and there was like all the band members lived in the house and their girlfriends. So it was like it was a big shit show. It was like right at the beginning of college, so I tolerated those things. And there was one couple that was they were slobs, and they would always lock their door, and they would leave food, and they would leave for days, and they would leave food. And at the same time, that was when Kaylee Anthony went missing. So we would joke that Kaylee's in their bedroom because it would stink so bad. And that was really bad. I probably shouldn't have
Oh
said
my
that on air.
god.
But anyways, eventually, like all the cockroaches and palmetto bugs would start to infest the house. And so we had to get the house bombed. And so we bombed the house and like with our own bombs. And then all of the bugs started coming out. And I remember one morning I woke up because I had to go to class. And I'm walking over people because there were like people passed out on the floor, and I'm going out to the porch. This is a typical day back
They were
then.
passed out because the bombs.
No, they were just people were getting drunk and high. Like it
Oh,
was
okay.
a party house. It was like a flop house, except all of us were in college. It was so weird. And I went out to the porch to get something, and I saw a big roach, and it was like the size of my hand. And I'm like, fuck. So I go to get a PVC pipe from one of the broken chairs, and this sounds like I lived in a fucking hovel, which I did. I go whack it, and the fucking thing starts screaming. It's like
Oh
I
my
keep hearing it. And
gosh.
I'm like, did I hear it? So I whacked it again. And it's like, and I don't know if it was the legs making that noise or what.
It said, "Please no, Mrs. Santiago."
That was before I was Mrs. Santiago. I was
Oh
Did
yeah.
you try to suck it up in a vacuum?
I was like 19 or 20. I don't know. I woke everybody up. I woke anybody up who would listen because I was like, get your ass up. And we're all like, everybody's like still drunk and high from the night before. And I'm like hitting the bug. We're like,
How stoned were you?
this is before smartphones, right? So I can't even get the fucking thing on tape. Like, I still had a flip phone back then. Like, what am I
Sure.
supposed to do?
Those LG flip phones. So those things used to be tanks too, man. You couldn't break those things.
Oh yeah, I know. Well, actually, no, I had a Nokia. Remember the Nokia?
Oh,
And
those
like,
things. Jeez.
you could sit it in a puddle and dry it out the next day, and it would still work. Oh, back in the
Charge it
19.
like once a week. You don't have to charge that thing like once a week too.
Yeah,
So,
I used hey, well that works because the only game on there was Snake.
Yeah.
So
oh, so back to Anaconda. So,
Oh, there we go. That's a segue.
well, I think I don't know how you guys felt about the snake screaming, but I think that was when I was a kid. I didn't know any different, so to me that was scary. I'm
I
like,
mean, yeah, I get it. It totally was. It got me too. Like it's a movie. It's not real life. When you're fighting a 40-foot, 2,000-pound anaconda. That's not real. And you need some things to sort of I make fun of this movie now, but when I was a kid, like I loved this movie. I thought it was great. I would watch it when it was on television all the time. I rented it from the store several times. I really enjoyed this movie. It just has not aged well, I don't think. Like if I put off like nostalgia glasses, I'm like not really a whole lot. There's not really anything happening here. It's just John Voight taking these people hostage with Mateo briefly.
Yeah.
So he can get a giant snake and maybe sell it to a zoo. Maybe I'm not
I
entirely
don't know
sure.
what he was trying to do, but
It's
when I
like
was watching
get
this,
money, take profit. I'm not sure. It's just kind of like you know what? Where are you gonna? And once he catches it, was he gonna just put it on the boat? Like hope it falls asleep the entire time, or
well,
like
they
the end
made
of
a
Lake Placid?
cartoon after him. They made the Wild Thornberries after John Voight. So
Oh my
the thing
God.
is, when I was watching this, John Voight did the whole, and then I looked on the trivia. It was going to be Tim Curry, but I thought he's like, oh, it's, or not. There was the other
Oh
guy.
no, who's gonna be Westridge?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the thing is with John Voight's character, I mean, aside from him being very racist, because that was such a terrible accent.
Well,
I
he
was
was doing
about
a
to
cute. He
ask,
was doing a
yeah.
Scarface accent. I'm like, that's a Cuban accent. That's
And
not.
also, it was like, I think they didn't put him in any sort of like light blackface. I thought about that. I was like, well, he's Peruvian. Please tell me that and kind of like tan him up a little bit. And I was like, okay, well, he still just looks kind of tan,
Well,
but not like,
Peruvians and Argentinians, they all
yeah.
look white. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah. That's why I couldn't remember if he was like Brazilian or Costa Rican or something like that, or more like a Hispanic kind of look. I couldn't remember where he
yeah,
was.
like more
But I was like,
Mayan
yeah,
looking,
yeah.
yeah,
When I
or
just kind of
whatever.
watched it, I was like, please tell me they didn't at least like put like just like a little bit of shoe polish so he look like Latin or something. But no, but the accent's kind of awkward.
And yeah, it was Scarface. It was straight Scarface. Watch Scarface and watch a clip of John Voight talking.
Yeah, it's the same kind of like idea, I think. And I think that if we were okay with Scarface, then I guess we'll be okay with Paul Cerrone.
Say hello to my little
Um,
snake.
Exactly. So, but besides Ice Cube and John Voight and Eric Stoltz is so cute in this movie, by the way. Even though we never see him. Jonathan Jonathan Hyde is as Westridge, and I want to circle back to him because I feel like he was in a lot of our childhood movies, and to see him in this was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
Owen Wilson's in it as well.
makes me
He's doing
laugh
his
every
stupid
time.
O face the whole time.
Like
Oh yeah.
it makes me laugh every time. I always forget he's in this, and I watch. I was like, oh, that's right. Owen Wilson's in this
And he says
movie.
wow in this too. Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
and he's got
Wow.
like the most like out of nowhere, doesn't make any sense heel turn. Like when he first like, no, we're going to capture the snake now. We got this. Carrie Werner, you're okay with this, aren't you? Like, no, you're not at all. Actually, I was like, what are you doing? And he's like, he's nothing. That whole character, it's not his fault. That character is just kind of dumb.
Well, yeah, he was wearing like the oversized shirt, like it was. I think he was supposed to be like a stoner, but he's just like, I don't know what it is, man, about this jungle, but it just makes me want to have sex.
Well, yeah, he was like the stoner California guy. He had the puka shells and the little fucking haircut. You remember guys like that back in the day.
Yeah,
And so he definitely embodied that, which I think if you're going to check off all the boxes of like what embodies 1997, like everybody sort of kind of represents it, right? Because even the Carrie War, Denise's character, she had that little bob that every girl had back in the late 90s, remember? Like that
yeah.
was her little, and her fake tan and the little chunky highlights. Like it was so 90s. And so and then of course we have Vincent Castellanos as Mateo, poor Mateo. And I have a Mateo. I told you I have a Mateo in my second period, and I always say that to him. And I know
Mateo,
he
poor
doesn't know what the
Mateo.
fuck I'm saying, like what I'm referring to, but it's like my little joke to myself. And then Danny Trejo at the beginning. And I don't know why, but I always thought Danny Trejo was so cute at the beginning. I don't know why.
Was that before or after acne scars?
I mean, he still has a bad face, like bad skin, but like he has a good body and he's got like a little tank top on. And I don't know what it was with me as a kid back then, but I loved like guys in tank tops. I don't know what it was. I was like Tina. Like,
Tina. Oh.
like instead of liking butts, I liked guys' arms. I don't know what it was.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, he shoots himself, so it's like, well, that escalated quickly.
Yeah, he dies. But everybody saw Danny Trejo in like everything back then. And then obviously Jonathan Hyde, who plays Westridge, which I didn't care for as a kid, but I totally identify with Westridge now as an adult. Like he is my favorite person. Like Westridge should have lived to the end. I'm very disappointed that he doesn't. Because he's very snooty. He just wants his wine and champagne and just to like live his best life, and he can't do it because everybody sucks in this boat.
Yeah,
And
he's
so-
the one that's like, oh, very smashing. That's the one, right?
Yes,
John?
yes.
He plays that same kind of character and all because he was also in Richie Rich. I'm sure you're
Richie
about to bring
Rich.
up. He was also the dad in Jumanji, which is also a kind of similar character. Like he played like he had this character and he nailed it every time. Just a very British snooty like I need a or no when he's talking about he misses cellular phones in LA traffic. He's like, don't start.
Don't stop.
Don't stop.
stop.
Yeah, I know. Like he's like, I love him, and then it kind of makes a lot of sense because this is me being stupid watching the movie again because I hadn't watched it since I was a kid. So like you, Jason, there were some parts that I was like, all right, some CGI that I didn't like, and it does drag a little bit.
Sure, yeah.
But the part where he's teaching Ice Cube how to drive the boat.
Yeah.
And thank God he did that, right? Because then how the fuck would Ice Cube get them out of there? Because he gets eaten by the fucking snake. So now, like, I mean, the movie kind of fills a lot of little plot holes, right? Because
yeah, it certainly does. Because I'm sure Ice Cube couldn't quite drive Amazon barges in LA. I'm sure that was not something he learned how to do out in South Central, I guess.
No, definitely not. Poor Ice Cube. So, and it's a lot with the film. Like I do, aside from some of the CGI, the fact that the snake itself was an animatronic, and I was reading today that they actually lost control of it for a little bit, like short circuited, and you can see it in the movie. And obviously, probably the part of the movie where it's like smacking everybody in the face is where I assume that they couldn't control it.
Because they say they kept it in, like that where they messed up. I think they said they kept it in the movie. I was like,
yeah,
sure.
Yeah, just like knock everybody around. Thank God it was still Jennifer Lopez and not J-Lo, because she probably would have had a fucking fit.
Oh, she does not do this kind of thing. No, she does not. Yeah, no, I would give this movie a pass for CGI because that's just it. All CGI from this era looks bad, and it's super expensive and it just wasn't really there yet. Even Jurassic Park, when you watch now, it's like for the time the CGI looks fine, but you watch it now, it's like it's not super great. So I'm giving it a pass on that. Some of the times, and also they do like when they are doing it in slow motion, or he's wrapping up like Mateo, and I think they did the same thing when he wraps up Paul Cerrone or whatever. Like I don't know why they have to do it in slow motion. That's what the worst sort of CGI in this movie does. It looks really weird and out of place. And I also don't know why they do it CGI. Or when they kills Mateo, that angle that they do a quick angle shift when he falls in the water and then the anaconda gets him. I guess it's kind of shocking, kind of scary, but I was like, it just felt like the angle of it, and it felt like a bad edit kind of thing. When he first got Mateo to me. Also the poor CGI, poor Mateo indeed.
Our poor friend Mateo. What does he say? He's like he's made a meal of our friend Mateo. Does nobody fucking care about Mateo?
Yeah. Well, granted, I guess Mateo was also with Paul Cerrone, and he was also trying to set them up. But still, he didn't deserve that.
No, but I'm glad that he got him and not Ice Cube. So there's that.
That's very true.
There was a couple of times it almost got Ice Cube. So, I think for what it is, I just can't believe, Doug, that this is the first time you've seen this movie. Of all the shit that you've watched over the years.
I've watched a lot of shit. Well, the thing is, I'll be honest, like this era of filmmaking, like I even told you, I'm like watching, I'm like, I'll watch it, but I'm just not a fan of like this era of filmmaking. Like as much as everyone loves it, I'm not a fan of Scream or like Halloween H2O, Anaconda, where it's like they put the who they cast is more important than the actual movie itself. You know what I mean? Where it's like where the reviews always say hip and scary. Fuck that. I don't know why. Maybe I have to like give it another chance, but I've always had like a sour spot for like late 90s, early 2000s movies.
The VHS tape was also shiny when you would move it. It was
and it always has like the cast of characters all standing like in a line. So
I'm actually glad that you mentioned Scream, because we could talk about the competition.
Oh yeah, Scream was a year earlier, wasn't it?
Yeah, so Scream was a year earlier, but Scream 2 came out this year, which Scream 2 was also a movie that my mom took me to the movie theater.
Really?
I don't think we lasted too long in it though, because there was one part that I whatever, it doesn't matter. But anyway,
there's no nudity in the Scream movies.
Yeah, I mean,
there's no nudity in any of them, is there?
Isn't there a dick that goes in someone's ear?
No, that's
Scary
That's
Scary
Movie.
Movie.
That's Scary
Okay, Scary
Movie.
Movie. That's I get the two confused.
Yeah, Kevin Williamson wrote a dick going into Skeet Ulrich
Yeah,
ear.
well, it could
Yeah.
happen.
Yes.
Well, because yeah, what is it? Mike Epps got the knife in his ear, and in the what doesn't matter. Anyways, so in 97 was actually a pretty solid year for horror, I would say. Devil's Advocate came out, which I saw in the movie theater. So I highlighted all the ones that I know I saw in the movie theater. And then Event Horizon, I Know What You Did Last Summer that I saw. Cube came out, and Cube CGI. Oh, we're going to talk about CGI that does not hold up. Cube is such a good concept, but that CGI has got to go. Relic, Mimic, An American Werewolf in Paris.
Gross.
Oh, that's you want to
Yeah.
talk about bad CGI? It's just a bad movie in general.
Yeah, and so and then we have Romeo and Juliet, which I really enjoy, but I've only recently watched it.
Big fan.
Yeah,
I
like
really
that
do
one.
like that movie. Wishmaster, Scream 2, Alien Resurrection,
Eh.
Spawn, The
Spawn.
Game. Yeah, Spawn came out. The Game came out. I saw The Game, and we're like, why is my mom taking me to see these movies? I think she just wanted to see them, and she needed somebody to go with.
You saw The Game. I'm
Well,
sure
I
that
saw
movie
The
didn't fly over
Game.
your head at all. I'm sure you weren't confused watching The Game like one bit as a 9-year-old.
I have no idea. I said, like, I haven't watched it since, so maybe I'll understand now, but I have no idea what the fuck was
Well,
going on.
there's something in the game that scared me. Was there a clown in the game?
It's the clown.
There is a clown
Yeah.
in the game, yeah.
It's the clown. It's like, but you only see it at the beginning, I think, right?
I don't
I
know,
think
but that's
so,
the
yeah.
only thing I remember as a kid when I seen that.
It's been a while since I've seen it too. It's a really good movie. It's David Fincher after I think it's his first movie after Alien 3 when he was so pissed off about that whole debacle. But yeah, it's a good movie.
Yeah, I have not. Whatever.
Yeah.
I'll watch it again. I probably understand it better now. Perfect Blue came out, which is that anime thing.
Yeah.
It reminds me of Doug's little friend there. Snow.
Which one's that?
Perfect Blue.
Yeah, that's like Coker loves to gush over that one. So
Perfect Blue. I've never seen Perfect Blue.
well,
I know what it is, but I've never seen it either.
It came out that year, so if you're interested, Snow White, which is the Sigourney Weaver one, which
A Tale of Terror, isn't that what it's like? It's like Snow White, A Tale of Terror, or something like that.
Yeah, Monica Keena and Gil Bellows is in it. My mom took me to see that one because apparently that was okay for a child to see as well. Leprechaun in Space.
That's a movie and a half. Leprechaun in Space.
Now, that movie has some good CGI though. That was
actually,
$100,000 per second.
For the time, and considering it was direct to video, when they blow up the leprechaun to be a big giant person, that's actually like, this is fine.
Yeah, I mean they're supposed to be funny, so like that's okay. The Edge came out with Alec Baldwin and what's his name, which I saw in the movie theater as well. I don't know why. Under Wraps from Disney Channel. Eve's Bayou, Kiss the Girls. I also saw the movies. Breakdown came out. I saw the movies. The Lost World Jurassic Park.
Yeah, I saw that one in theaters. Yeah,
we all saw that one in theaters.
Yeah, it's Jurassic Park.
Yeah, and then Funny Games, and then The Fifth Element. So I thought all of those were noteworthy, and so all of them have shitty CGI. I feel like that's like their common denominator.
Exactly. You can't they're just bad CGI. It was new. It wasn't really as ready there, but it was super expensive. I don't know if we talked about it. It was $100,000 a second for the Anaconda on this movie.
Yeah.
Like, good Lord.
They made all like bandits.
And I thought it was supposed to be cheaper. I thought CGI was supposed to be cheaper than practical effects.
It is now. Then it was absolutely not.
But they wanted to be state of the art, cutting edge. Like, no, we have to have some CGI. You're making it look real.
And of course, there's some things that CGI you can do in animatronics you just can't do, I guess. But CGI. I always like practical. I'm always gonna be somebody who likes practical effects, even though even you do gunshots now or CGI, which really bothers me. But anyway, that's a different podcast.
Yes. Well, I mean, apparently, in light of all of the events that have happened lately on set, I think that we need CGI bullets because how many people have died on set now because of this?
Well, let me ask you: have you guys ever seen? It's kind of a deep cut, but The Curse 2. Have you guys seen that one? The Bite.
Is that the one that's got no? Because what's his face is in the Curse. The kid from Star
Will
Trek.
Wheaton
Will Wheaton.
The first one, but the second one's like a totally different story. But Screaming Mad George, it's a movie about a guy that gets bit by a snake and then his hand becomes a snake, And so it's like a giant snake, but the thing is the practical effects were so good, and it was like half the price of what, not even a percentage of the price of what Anaconda costs. So I'm like,
Sure.
why couldn't they get Screaming Mad George to make like a giant snake? It would look great, but no, they had
I
to do
mean,
It
this.
would.
the puppet is fine. Like the animatronic is fine. Like I don't think that it looks bad. I mean, but I understand where they had to splice in the CGI with it. I mean, wrapping it around Owen Wilson, obviously for one. But
Or when he's swimming around, you see Owen Wilson's face in his tummy like that.
oh yeah. That was horrifying as a child. Like
Yeah,
when you saw that was
absolutely.
so scary. Like, oh my God, because he was still alive because he's screaming. And oh my God.
Well, see,
But
now would it have been better? You think because the cartoony thing was like when the snake spins a lot, like that's kind of like I was hoping like when Owen Wilson goes, I thought I was gonna go whoa, whoa, wow, 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 like
Like a little, like a wind up top for Owen Wilson.
yeah, like when someone's spinning really fast in a cartoon, they go wow, wow, wow.
I love that. I mean, that would be fine. Like, honestly, like for the time, I think the movie is good. For now, does it hold up? Jason thinks it doesn't.
No.
I think it still kind of holds up only because of the cast.
That's interesting, sure. I just watched the movie. I was like, about the end of it. Now I bust out laughing when John Voight got thrown up and then he winked at Jennifer Lopez. Like that's probably one of the other best parts of the movie.
Is that when
thought-
John Voight was like being pervy, like watching her comb her hair? He's like, he does like this weird face.
That part was really creepy too. But like, no, when the anaconda throws him up and he's got all that goo on there, and he just looks at Jennifer Lopez and winks at her. I was like, this is great. This part is pretty fantastic. I also forgot about the part where you see the snake from the inside, the POV shot of him swallowing John Voight.
Yeah,
I was like,
that's
oh,
a
that's
good
actually
one.
gross. I was like, that's actually cool and gross. Like, I like that effect a lot. Have y'all seen Nope yet? Either of you seen Nope yet?
I've seen Nope, yeah.
Okay, it reminded me of the spoiler alert for anybody that may not have seen it. When they're going when he's the whatever that thing is eating those people from the ranch. Kind of reminded me of that kind of thing.
And they just start sucking them in, and they're
Yeah.
like, oh.
Yeah.
And then immediately when I saw that part, I thought of Anaconda because I'm like, I remember him swallowing John Voight, and oh my God, like, because like just the idea of it, knowing you're being eaten alive and slowly.
Yeah, absolutely. That being constricted alive, and then knowing somebody's going to eat you, and you might even be alive still while you're getting devoured. Like that is a scary thought for sure. But this overall, this movie, like, there's some things about this movie that was like, whatever. Like when they blow up the bridge that's in the way, and all those little tiny snakes come out after there, I was like, this is just filler. Kind of just feels like filler. Now it's on Westridge's finger.
Yeah, and he's like, he's like, just blow the bloody thing.
yeah. And he like throws a wine glass out into the Amazon or something that he was drinking. I was like, Westridge, you are a true gem of a person. I love you so much.
I loved him. Like he should have lasted to the end. He brought the wine. Like, come on, everybody. Like,
don't start, okay?
Yeah. So I just think it was just kind of,
yeah.
You deal with characters like that, but he did a good job with that. And so there's fun aspects to it. The whole Ice Cube line is adorable.
Sure. It is an entertaining movie. I will give it that. Also, the end when the snake, like they blow up the snake and he falls in the water, but he won't go underwater. I'm like, just go in the water and you're fine. Move, you're back in the game. You're still burnt.
Like dumb snake. So.
Yeah, just go like swim underwater. You're made to swim underwater. Okay, you're on fire. Just like,
But this is another one. It kind of reminds me of like the whole idea behind Mars Attacks, where it's like a mega $1 million budget B movie. Like, really, that's what it is.
Yeah, I mean, that's essentially what it is for sure. And also, I was looking over it, like creature features in the '90s were huge. I got a whole list here. Let me pull up. So
yeah,
obviously there's Anaconda, but you've got Ticks, Deep Blue Sea, Tremors, The Relic, Mimic, Jurassic Park, and all those sequels. Komodo, which I watched this week, was also made by the exact same people
with the same poster too.
Yeah, exactly. Lake Placid, of course, Deep Rising, Bats, Arachnophobia, Mosquito, Skeeter, the Carnosaur movies, and I also saw there's this movie called Rattled from 1996 I had never heard of, but it's about rattlesnakes killing everybody in a small town. I was like, man, creature features were huge in the 90s. I didn't even realize it.
Oh, even like that Killer Bees movie. Remember that it was on TV?
I think it, like Sting. No, what was? I know what you're
What
talking
was?
about. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Because I
just
remember
remember
like in the '90s, everybody was like killer bees were a big thing out of nowhere. I remember that was like a big fear.
because they killed Macaulay Culkin and My Girl, so now everybody's upset about bees. Like,
Oh gosh,
and
somebody put on
arachnophobia. Let's be upset about the spiders.
somebody
Like,
put on his glasses. He can't see without his glasses.
He
oh,
deserved it. So.
oh my God, Doug. Okay, so Doug, as the first time viewing this movie, would you watch it again? Is it something you'd recommend to somebody? Would you gush over this as you would the Untold Story?
No, I wouldn't. No, because I feel like this is a movie that's just like I kind of roll my eyes like I'm just like it's late 90s, I get where it's coming from. It's a good time killer, but I don't think it adds to like any substance until like the last maybe 20 minutes.
Sure.
So when all that stuff's going on with the snake, yeah. But other than that, like the first half of it is just like, if you get it, you get it. But you want to know what the last half of this movie was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. So, yeah. But other than the whole stupid, like if the cast wasn't so big, like Owen Wilson and all these other ones, I probably would have enjoyed it more, to be honest. But that's just me. I have a weird taste. Like when I see Jennifer Lopez, I'm like, they're just waxing their own carrot here. With all these, you know what I mean? I'm just like, I don't get a Woody for like these big name people. I kind of detest Hollywood, if you would, but yeah.
I've got a question for both of you. So what's scarier, to be Carrie Wer's character in this movie or Carrie Wer's character in Eight-Legged Freaks?
Oh, I would probably say this movie
This
because
movie?
yeah, first she lost her fuck buddy.
Mm.
Like, could you imagine? Like, let's imagine we're all in the Amazon.
Now is she the one that gets killed by the killer knee?
Yeah, she gets killed by John Voight, the only other girl in the movie.
Yeah, she gets rear naked choked or something and she dies.
Yeah, but the way that he kills her, right? So she's already like a hot mess, and they almost die from the wild boar, right? So then she gets thrown into the water by the fucking snake, and then her boyfriend turns into a piece of shit, and then he dies, and then John Voight fucking strangles her to death. Like, Jesus Christ, she was just like the producer, like making salads and shit. Like, did she have to go out so horribly? And then the snake eats her after that.
So she gets eaten alive, strangled, drowned, choked out. She's a regular bar sinister. So
I just imagine her being Westridge's like hair and makeup person, to make sure he looks beautiful on camera.
Well, I will give it that she looked like the main girl from the new Hellraiser movie. So I'm like, okay, that she kind of deserved it. So
she, who she reminds me of? What's her name? Natalie Imbruglia. I don't know why.
Oh,
she always
God.
reminded me of Natalie Imbruglia in this movie.
Or
But
Kylie Minogue from what's the movie where they're both Australian probably. So Kylie Minogue from Biodome.
oh yeah.
So I don't know. So that's just my opinion. I don't know. Doug, what do you think?
Yeah. Who are we talking about? The girl?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you rather be an Anaconda or would you rather be in Eight-Legged Freaks?
Anaconda, because the snake's kind of stupid. Eight-Legged Freaks. Well, actually, no, Eight-Legged Freaks, because I feel like everyone in that movie has a good sense of humor.
Yeah, and you get good ostrich burgers or emu burgers.
Yeah, and then all you got to do is spray yourself with perfume. So isn't that what
that is how they
perfume?
Is how they eat. That's a go back to the old catalogs, the old archives of slashers. Jake and not Doug. What's his name?
Jake
and I know Jake, obviously. The original co-host of the show.
Oh, Brian.
Yeah. Jake and Brian.
Brian Dennehy used to be on Slashers, but he's retired now, so.
Well, I know that's the thing. It's like, okay, if we're talking about the cast, like, yeah, it was a big name cast. And we know all of them now, but back in 97, J-Lo wasn't anybody. Owen Wilson wasn't anybody. And I don't think like John Voight was like on his way out of popularity.
He was, but John Voight was I thought he was like one of those people that was like kind of the celebrity, like one of the sophisticated
Was he in Deer Hunter? I know he was in he was in Deer Hunter, yeah.
Yeah, he was really young. Right? But was it Deliverance? Yeah.
Yeah, he's in Deliverance.
But I always remember him, not even him, but remember the episode of Seinfeld where George thinks he bought John Voight's car? And like
No.
he found a pencil in the car that was chewed on. He's like, and John Voight chewed on this pencil.
Oh no, I've forgotten that episode. I need to go back and see if I can find that one
Yeah,
now.
that's
Yeah,
wasn't
no,
John
that's a
Voight
good
kind of
one. That's
crazy
a good
now?
one. Yeah, he's correct. Well, you know what? But he's Angelina Jolie's father. They have a very strenuous relationship. They don't
Tumultuous.
tumultuous, I should say. Yes. And so, but she looks just fucking like him. So,
Yeah.
bitch, why don't you just like embrace the fact that both y'all are nuts?
She's
And
too busy making out with her brother to give John
oh,
Boyd.
and that's another thing. Yeah. And like nobody fucking remembers that. They want to talk about her being like this amazing fucking person. She's running around with Billy Bob Thornton and his blood in a vial and making out with her brother on the red carpet. Like, who the fuck is she? Like, don't even get
Well,
me started about Angelina Jolie. I'm
She should be
sorry.
top page on Pornhub or X videos. You know what I mean?
I cannot with her. So anyway, last thing I wanted to say though, for Paul Cerrone, for John Voight's character, they were considering Michael Douglas, Harrison Ford, Mel Gibson, Liam Neeson, Jack Nicholson, and Martin Sheen. So I think all of them, I think Liam Neeson would have been pretty funny.
Yeah. Well, he would have said, "I'm gonna kill these motherfucking snakes. I'm gonna find."
I've got a very certain set of skills to kill anacondas. Oh no, because he doesn't. He's got to keep the anaconda alive.
Yes,
Oh,
yes, to kill people, I guess,
I
because
don't.
well, yeah.
I guess he's trying to sell this anaconda, but that's really never super clear. He just says it's he sells them to zoos or something. I don't.
No, yeah, he said he sells it to the zoos want them and they
Yeah.
get millions of dollars from, and these are zoos that are like in the
Like
other
the Tiger
countries.
King zoos, right?
Yeah, like illegal zoos that you're not supposed to have these animals, right?
Yeah, where's the Anaconda King at? That'll be the next pandemic early binge watch.
Don't Google it.
But I was actually
Yeah,
reading
that's probably not a good idea.
I don't yeah, I'm not going to do that, but I was reading something when I was researching the movie because the part where he says he finds the baby anacondas, they're just babies. And apparently baby or anacondas can produce like 30 to 40 like offspring and like a litter. I don't know. They're eggs, right? They're not mammals.
A
Whatever.
clutch, maybe.
I know. You know what? Mikey is the animal person. Mikey should have been on this episode. And he's just throwing them back in the water. And like somebody had made a good point. If he had just kept the babies, apparently they grow very fast. Eventually it would have been big and he could have had all these babies to sell.
Yeah.
So it just, but it obviously wouldn't have a movie if he didn't go after the big ones, though.
I watched the sequel. They kind of explain why they got, because anacondas apparently keep growing until they die. That's something anacondas. I don't know if pythons or if they do that, but I know anacondas are that way. And so they kind of explain it in the sequel why they get so big. One, they're in fucking Borneo. Anacondas aren't in Southeast Asia. They're only in the Amazon. But anyway, they're eating these blood lotuses that make them live forever. So since they live forever, they grow forever, and that's why they're just so huge because
and the
growing
film.
forever. Yeah,
okay.
It's Anaconda 2 is a very stupid movie that I would not suggest anybody watch. I was going to watch the third one because I think David Hasselhoff is in that one, but it's not streaming anywhere for free. So I was like, nope, not going to pay $4.99 to watch that movie.
Well, and I think to go back to your answer too, about like, oh, if I would, fan my nuts over it and show people, I think what scares me away from that is the PG-13 one. I'm like, I want to see some. It's not gory enough. If they had the tracheotomy scene, yeah, sure, why not? But
yeah, and to edit that out, I think is such a detriment to the film because that's a huge reason. Like that's a big turning point in the film. And by taking that part out and like to show how visceral that was, like we're just thinking that Eric Stoltz is fucking napping in the back with a goddamn band-aid on his neck. Like, no, he had this big old, and you could see it coming out, Doug.
Yeah.
And I remember as a kid watching it, like, oh, like what?
And you like hear it breathing the entire time. Well, I guess you kind of hear it in the new one. Yeah.
It's just, oh my God. It was like, I think it was even worse than watching the tracheotomy in Saw 6. Where's the one where Luke from Gilmore Girls puts it in his neck?
Oh, that wasn't even that gory. He just shoves the pen in his neck to breathe because he's in that water box.
Jeez.
Yeah. And so, and that's like nothing. Like this one, you can actually see the bug coming out. And so that's what he did. He made like so he could still breathe and get the bug out. And it was like disgusting.
I'm
Like
gonna
it
have to
was
look
so
on Google for
nasty.
this.
You're gonna have to look that up because I mean the fact that they took it out, I think is such a disservice to the film because if you know, if you've watched it as a kid and you were traumatized like Jason and me, then you should be able to watch it now as an adult.
Well,
And
It's just so
anyway.
funny. The
Maybe Jennifer Lopez took it out, and if she's like, if you keep it in, you're gonna have to do what you did in Trash Juice and put fake faces over everybody because I'm not gonna be a part of this movie. So Jennifer Lopez would have a different actress on her face. With
My favorite part of that scene though was like Mateo gets the wasp and he goes, poisonous, deadly, and he like stares at all these other people. I'm like, what? Cool.
Mateo was definitely overacting. Like he was always looking at them like
Yeah.
I go and then like I was watching as an adult and like, is he drunk? Like what?
Yeah,
what
probably.
I think John Voight was drunk.
Oh, he was.
This.
Yeah, John. Everybody was fucking trash.
You know, Westridge was trashed. Okay.
Yeah, I mean they were trash as the characters and like in real life. Like these people had to have been drunk.
Well, yeah, he doesn't get out of bed unless he's got a little bit of brandy, you know, right next to us on his, you know, on his nightstand.
What a movie. And so for a 90s film, for me, I think it holds up. It holds up the way it should. It is what it is. I'm not going to expect anymore. I'm really pissed they took that part out. So if Hulu hears me or whoever the fuck thought that was a good idea to take that fucking part out of the movie, you could go suck the biggest fucking dick and choke on it for all I care.
The size of the Anaconda.
Choke on the poisonous, whatever that thing was that Mateo had, and then die like poor Mateo. Die just like him because you suck. Like that was the best part of the movie. So whatever. And as far as like snake movies, I'm glad that you mentioned the creature features because apparently there's not that many snake horror films, but Anaconda basically takes most of the cake, and they have 4 films, 5 if you include Anaconda versus like Placid, which I'm really sad that Austin couldn't join us because he watched the film.
So how does an anaconda fight a lake?
Well, according to Austin, it's not even in Lake Placid, and it's a crocodile. So I don't know what the fuck happened.
Oh, here I am thinking it's like a lake versus a snake. So.
I don't know. Austin owns it. So Austin from Frightmares podcast, shameless plug. I don't know why I can't talk anymore. I think I'm just like, it's past my bedtime. So my melatonin's kicking in. Anyway, it really is because I took one before we started. So.
Well, there is for you people that like snake movies out there. There's one I bought it was a Shout Factory Blu-ray. I bought it on sale. It's called
I was about to say that.
Yeah, it's just called and then the sequel is called Sequel. But no, it's great, and they actually use real king cobras, which is fucking scary. Like if I was on a set and they're like, oh, we're gonna bring these king cobras in here with the train, I'm like, I'm not getting anywhere near that fucking cobra. Get the fuck out. Like it's the cobras that stand up, you know what I mean? Have you ever seen them where they stand up? That's fucking terrifying. So if you have the chance, definitely check out.
There's a Tara Reid sci-fi original movie I think it's called Vipers. That's also very bad.
Vipers.
Yeah, well, when it's Tara Reid, she's like really, really, really awful acting in that movie, and it's just a sci-fi original. So give that one a watch, Vipers.
Bless her heart, but she's got to stop her shit. Like we're done. Tara Reid, you are done, honey. It is time to retire. I don't even know what to tell you. But yeah, like I can't think of anything else besides Anaconda. Or maybe this is like that's it, right? Like
yeah. Well, there's
like
another. I was looking up on Tubi too. There's one called Venom with Klaus Kinski.
Oh, is that good?
It's good, and it's funny. You know, the story behind Klaus Kinski. He's fucking he was fucking crazy. He's dead now, and everyone hated working with him. In fact, people even plotted to kill him on their movie sets to get the insurance money because he was that bad. But Klaus Kinski's crazy. There's even this movie called Agir, The Wrath of God, when he grabs like one of the titi monkeys. And he's like, he's doing a monologue with it, and then he just throws it. It's like a real monkey. He just throws it. And then in that movie Venom, I guess like when they were filming it, because it's this poisonous snake that gets shipped to his house, and he's a robber, so he goes into this house and like holds all these people hostage, and the snake's running around killing people in the house. And then at the end of it, he like gets bit by the snake. He's like, no, snake is gonna kill me. So he like grabs I don't think the filmmakers knew, but he grabbed the fucking snake. He had a real gun and blew the snake's head off. and then the cops shoot him, and he gets thrown off the balcony. So he was crazy. He'd like bite heads off animals.
There's I remember Werner Herzog made a whole documentary about their relationship and how like much of a pain in the ass and how awful he is to just be around. But it's
he was a terrible person. Yeah.
We're also missing the very classic movie called Snakes on a Plane.
On the plane.
Yes.
Yeah.
Get these motherfucking snakes off my motherfucking plane.
I have to watch that because I've only seen a clip where the fat lady gets eaten or a fat lady gets bitten with.
And there's also the Asylum ripoff, Snakes on a Train. Okay, so.
Well, Snakes on a Plane features a very sexy Taylor Kitsch at the beginning with his sexy fucking body half naked in the bathroom. Like,
my man is box office poison. Like, I see him I feel like he's just every movie he's in is just like millions of dollars. But it's not like the only good thing that he was in, I guess, was the Friday Night Lights TV show.
I loved him in Savages, and I did like him. I always said he would make, before he was even cast as Gambit, I was like, he would make a great Gambit because he's fine as fuck. And Gambit's fine as fuck. And he was Gambit, but they didn't make him the Gambit that we know.
He's not Creole, which is very disappointing.
It is disappointing. Like, whatever. The whole movie was disappointing, but I still watch it all the time because not only am I going to marry Hugh Jackman, but I'll also marry Taylor Kitsch. So we can just be like sister husbands.
And you get a little bit of Ryan Reynolds too.
Oh, that, yeah. Oh my God. What a great trio. Oh my God. That'd be like my dream.
Well, we're gonna get you for Christmas a Hugh Jackman candle that smells like Hugh Jackman's jockstrap.
Smells like Hugh Jackman.
So would you be like that girl at the concert that squeezes the jockstrap? Or Micah was telling me a story about that. She was like drinking the jockstrap.
He told the story on the. So Jason, you're not on Facebook. So somebody posted a candle that says that, like, somebody selling a candle, like some stupid company is selling a candle that smells like Hugh Jackman.
Okay.
So I reposted it, and then Doug is like, "Oh, Hugh Jackman's jockstrap, check." And then Micah gets on there and he's like, "Oh, by the way, Flea." And then in parentheses, which is what pisses me off about that he did this, in parentheses, from the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Like I wouldn't know who the fuck Flea is. Somebody threw the jockstrap in the crowd and wrung it out in her mouth. And I'm like, I would so do that for you, Jackman. Why not?
Well, I remember that. What is that rapper? Gayuki Gekume? He had the crusty baby. He had a crusty baby, and
I don't even.
he got the baby circumcised and he took it to the concert. And then everyone's like, yeah. He's like, I got baby Gayuki's foreskin. I got baby Gayuki's foreskin. And he threw it in the audience, and there's someone like chewing it like bubblegum. Like,
that's disgusting.
Absolutely disgusting.
Yeah,
and then Doug the baby.
Doug puts the crusty ass baby on my post. Like, this was a wholesome post, people, until Doug and Micah decided to crash it. So whatever. I still want the candle. It's fine.
A little trash juice on there.
So anyway, but yeah, so we're coming up to the end of the episode. I don't mean to cut everybody off, but I know it's been an hour, so we probably should wrap this shit up.
Mm-hmm.
But we have a lot of good things coming for you guys. If there's any 90s films that you think that we missed, or that you think that we kind of, bludgeoned as we talked on a couple of the episodes, because I know we talked a lot of shit about several 90s films like throughout the month in our episodes. So if there's an episode that you don't like or that you disagree, or something you want to hear, please let us know. slasherspod@gmail.com. Don't forget to send Jake your dick pics because he's waiting.
He
waiting
loves them.
patiently.
He's a big fan.
He saves them all. He's got like a whole wall of dick.
It's the best if you put your face in there too, like a thumbs up,
Yeah,
that's really what he wants.
We'll get them all printed and make Christmas cards for slashers. So all you Patreon viewers out there, the mailman's is like, we can't send this.
The 12 days of Dickmas. So.
Yeah, exactly. No, we'll make a beautiful mosaic. When the people take a lot of pictures and it looks like, I don't know, like a Statue of Liberty. We'll do that, but with the dick pics.
That'd be so cute. Oh.
Yeah.
So, but yes. So, Doug, where can we find you on Fridays and Saturdays?
All right. Well, if you guys got a Roku, tune into B Movie TV. It's a free channel. You just go to your search options, type in B Movie TV. I host Friday Night Action Fridays at 8. We show a crazy action movie or a sleazy action movie or a horror action movie. So anything in between. So I'm on at 8 to 10. Pervy the Clown at midnight. Merry Death at 10 p.m. So the B Movie TV is great. And then Saturdays, Jake or Yahira, it alternates between the two. But they host Saturday Night Terror Saturday nights at 10 p.m. on B Movie TV on Roku. So yeah, you get your video there and you get your audio here. So best of both worlds.
Okay, and Jason, where can you buy t-shirts, hats, mugs, jock straps from Doug's Ventures to the Gym? Where can we get those?
Yeah, you can find Doug's underwear. What's that called? Like used panties. Isn't that what they call that?
Used panties. I'm learning the whole thing about used socks too. So if you like
I can
anal
sell my
juices-
used socks. Oh my god, I'm sitting on a gold mine. Anyway.
Yeah, well, like Jason, you could sell your pants too. The gray sweatpant pics, everyone wants dick print.
Dude, I need some more
gray
money. I
sweatpants.
gotta find some passive income somewhere.
Oh, why is that though? Not to cut you off, Jason, but why is it that the gray sweatpants always show like the perfect outline of a penis? Like, what is that material?
I
Like,
don't know.
what is that? Like, I don't even
Dick
know.
tissue. I don't know.
It's just like your dick is always out. I don't know. Anyways, Jason, continue.
Okay. Slashers Pod has their own Redbubble. So you go to redbubble.com/slasherspod. All kinds of, like we said, jock straps. I think there's actually an anal ring with the
There's anal
Slashers
beads.
podcast, anal beads, yeah.
Titty tape. Don't forget the titty
Titty tape,
tape with the
titty
Guncho
tape.
face on it.
When you make your trips to Bar Sinister, you'll need those.
Yeah, but lots of t-shirts and stickers, all kinds of merch that you can get there. It helps keep the lights on here. And also you can give us a 5-star review on anything that you listen to us on. That would also be pretty great.
Yes, that would be. Thank you. Yeah, because like we need some reviews. Like you guys, if you love us, which all 9 of you do on the patreon.com/slasherspod. Please make sure you go on there if you want to support us monetarily. That way, $1 a month will get you some stickers, some accolades. We'll say your name on a couple of episodes. Maybe you'll get a dick pic. We don't know. I mean, it's just
we can't promise it'll be one of our dicks, but it will be a dick.
Maybe we could do like the inside of a vagina and then just say it's the inside of the anaconda.
We'll send you Micah's dick from Damn That's Scary. You can have
Micah's naked running around here all the time.
Yeah, so. I know.
In fact, I have Micah's anal beads on my wrist still. So hey, for your video people.
Me too.
Yo, you do. Hey, there you go. See, Micah, we're thinking about you every day.
I know.
Anal beads and all.
I know. Bless his heart. So anyways, thanks guys for joining us for Anaconda this week. We've got a lot more shit coming for you at the end of this year. So I know that Thanksgiving is coming up this week. So happy Thanksgiving, everybody. It just, pretend that you're eating John Voight, and when you regurgitate or throw up from all of the libations from the holiday, just picture John Voight winking at you.
No, your drunk uncle. John Voight is your drunk uncle. Remember that.
We gotta find like a screen grab of his face, like when J-Lo is combing her hair, he's just like
yeah, he's a predator, so he deserved it. So
no wonder his daughter doesn't talk to him.
Well, I wouldn't talk to her ass either. Oh my god, I'm horrible. Okay, so goodbye and good day.